Hot fudge. So yummy, delicious, rich, gooey. Tastes wonderful on Sundays. And it's going to be our secret ingredient today. This is Bright Future Baking, and we are going to be making a chocolate whip cupcake with a fudge filling center. So what we're going to do and what you need is you're going to need whipped cream, chocolate cupcakes, hot fudge, maybe some mini chocolate chips to garnish. So let's get started. First, we're going to go ahead and get our whipped topping. So after our whipped topping is nice and firm, not too soft, you want it a little firmer for this one. So you want it where it's going to be able to hold up a little bit more because the hot fudge is going to be warmer. So now this hot fudge is warm, but it's not super hot. And I do show you on one of my other shows how to make hot fudge. So if you want to check that video out, and we're just going to dump it right in there. And then the great thing about this hot fudge is you can make it as chocolatey as you would like. So we're just going to go ahead and stir that in there. So this is going to be for like a light hot chocolate. All right, so that shows you what it looks like right there. So that's a light version right there. Now, the great thing about this is you can add more hot fudge to make it more chocolatey. So it all depends on how much you like. If you like it a nice hot fudge flavor or just a light flavor. So, and if you notice, it gives it a nice color there too. Now you make sure not to get the hot fudge too hot because you don't want to melt your whipped cream. And this is going to be a whipped cream cupcake, the topping anyways. So you're going to want to make sure to refrigerate it until you actually need it. Just going to add a little bit more there. And then we're just going to stir it right in. And then we're going to go to our cupcakes. Once our cupcakes are baked and cooled, we're going to go ahead and stick them in the freezer for about 20 minutes. Take it out, and then we're just going to cut out a little hole there so you can put our filling in there. This is a fudge icing in a reusable icing bag. And basically what I'm going to do is I filled it halfway full. I'm just going to squeeze it and just squeeze it and go around like that. Just like that. So let me show you that again. Okay. So you want to just go ahead and squeeze it and just fill up that center. Then once we do that, we're going to go ahead and put our chocolate topping on. All right, and so while you're waiting for the cupcakes to cool and after you've filled them, during that time while you're waiting for the cupcakes, put the whipped cream back in the refrigerator. So, because whipped cream can get softer if you don't do that. And what this is a reusable cake bag. And I do have a large shell tip in there, but you don't necessarily have to have one. You can use the compostable baking paper and fold it the way I've showed you before and just do it that way and cut the tip that way. So we're just going to go ahead and squeeze it and then just go right on top like that. Then once we go ahead and do that, we're going to put some chocolate chips on it. Now, if you take a bowl and you put the cupcake over and just lightly sprinkle the chocolate chips over it, the excess chocolate chips will fall back into the bowl, which is kind of nice. All right, let me show you how to do that from another angle. All right, we're just going to go squeeze. And the great thing about a little turntable is you can just turn it as you're squeezing, which is kind of nice. So, but if you don't have a turntable or a small turntable or a Lazy Susan, you can just put it in place and just slowly turn it. So we've gone put our icing on it. Now we're going to do the same thing with our chocolate chips. So you just put it over a bowl and just lightly sprinkle it on. Now, if you want the chocolate whipped topping to be a little darker, you can. So, add more fudge to it. Let me show you what the finished product looks like. All right, and here we have our finished product. Make sure to refrigerate it and just bring it out as you need it or right before you're serving your dessert. bringing out then. And it's really great flavor. You've got the chocolate fudge filling, you have the chocolate cupcake, and then you have the chocolate whip topping with just a little bit of accents of chocolate chip on top. So if you really like chocolate, this is a really good one for you. So I hope you get a chance to try this out. It's really good. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you check out some of our other videos, and let's make the world a better place.